Coming up, we've got your first look at the brand new Prince of Persia 2 trailer and an exclusive interview with King of Kong superstar Steve Wiebe to see what happened after the movie ended.
Plus, we got brand new details on the just announced sequel to one of our favorite games ever. Find out what it is. X-Play starts right now. Hello and welcome to X-Play, the television equivalent of the third rail. I'm Adam Fessler.
And I'm Morgan Webb. We're coming to you from the G4 studios in Los Angeles on Thursday, May 29th.
Now, later in the show, we'll go head-to-head to chat about Wii Fit. Will it change the way we play games, or could it be the next Power Glove? Then, Mr. Shark wants you to terrorize the streets of Liberty City in his latest gamer challenge. It's a Grand Theft Auto 4 Prison Break. But first, let's get all the top headlines in today's Gaming Update.
The end of Ubisoft's impressive Ubi Days press conference has revealed what is likely to be the best news that X-Play has learned all year. A new Beyond Good and Evil game. While Ubisoft was not willing to make any official announcements regarding the title of the game, a teaser trailer cut from the sequel's in-game engine shows what is likely to be Jade and her boorish uncle stranded on an intergalactic highway. We cannot wait to get our hands on this game. Laying waste to endless rumors, the video game publisher Take-Two has confirmed BioShock will appear on the PlayStation 3 later this year. The game is expected to ship with the extras that were later added to the game, including a few new plasmids and an option to disable Vita chambers. Graphically, the game is supposed to be identical to the PC and 360 versions, but some have started to point out a few minor differences in the look of the Big Daddies. With this re-release, the game's publisher is also excited at the chance of earning a new shelf of Game of the Year awards. Finally, THQ has confirmed the release date of their open-world sandbox game Saints Row 2 has been delayed until October 14th. Originally scheduled for release here in the U.S. on August 26th, THQ says the game's developer, Volition, needs a little more time to add some polish to the game. The 2-month delay also gives THQ's marketing department plenty of time to follow Gary Busey around with a few cameras. That's it for today's gaming update. For the latest news, be sure to check out our website, g4tv.com/xplay. But don't go just yet, because right now we've got video of another big sequel that was announced at Ubi Days. Here is the broadcast premiere trailer for Prince of Persia.
Since the beginning of time, legend has told of an epic battle between darkness and light. But now the darkness spreads, and an unknown warrior will rise. With a deadly new ally. To save a kingdom and restore the light.
I like the new look, and so should you. In preparation for G4's world television premiere of The King of Kong this Sunday, we thought we'd catch up with one of the film's stars and undisputed nice guy, Steve Wiebe. In the summer of 2007, the successful theatrical debut of The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, cast the spotlight on the world of professional gaming and transformed a mild-mannered Seattle school teacher named Steve Wiebe into an internationally recognized gaming icon. Now, as G4 prepares for the world television premiere of the film, X-Play traveled north to get some FaceTime with the man behind the million-point monkey.
I didn't think it was going to be a dramatic effect on the gaming community. Plug in the machine, tape it, send it in. Once I submitted it, it was like a big deal. I wasn't really trying to get any fame or notoriety from it. I was just trying to get my name on a website.
Steve's humble demeanor and underdog story resonated with audiences as they followed his quest to take the record away from professional gaming's Goliath, Billy Mitchell.
It makes for a good contrast, me and Billy against each other.
Despite their rivalry, Steve gives Billy the benefit of the doubt for why he wouldn't play against him in the film.
He was a little leery of trying to put himself out there as far as going for a record head-to-head. It wasn't something he wanted to risk at that time.
At the end of the movie, Steve finally achieves the world record for Donkey Kong. However, just before the release of the film, Billy Mitchell posted a new high score and reclaimed his throne at the top of the Twin Galaxy leaderboard.
I was pretty devastated. I wanted to start going for the record right then and there. I said, okay, it's all good. It's just competition's gonna go back and forth. I hooked up the camera again above the machine, and my son comes into the room and says, the King of Kong is over. There's no reason to play anymore.
Steve is as determined as ever to reclaim his crown as the King of Kong, but getting there won't be easy.
Billy has 1,050,200, which is like 1,100 more than my score. So it's doable, but they've changed. The rules now require a referee to be in person wherever you are, and the board's got to be certified and tested. So it's a lot harder to get a score validated.
But Steve is up for the challenge and has a few new tricks up his sleeve.
To get the record back, I've been working on some other point pressing techniques since I got my 1,049,100 game. So I have some ways. I think I can get 1,125,000 as my top score now. The theoretical is like maximum's about 1,250,000.
In the meantime, Steve is making the most out of his newfound notoriety.
Meet a lot of different people who can relate to the movie, relate to the story. It's fun to talk with them and share that with them. Get a lot of traveling, meeting celebrities.
Steve will be making his return to the silver screen this holiday season in the upcoming comedy Four Christmases, which was directed by the King of Kong, Seth Gordon.
I was asked to be in a movie with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. I'm playing Donkey Kong in one scene with the baby on my lap. I'm not taking my eyes off the screen.
To get the whole story behind Steve's epic journey for the World Donkey Kong record, be sure to tune in this Sunday to see The King of Kong only on G4. And be sure to tune in to X-Play tomorrow for the world premiere of the trailer for The King of Kong 2. You'll see the length that Billy Mitchell will go to protect his title, and it may put the whole world in jeopardy.
If you have a decent television and surround sound, Condemned to Bloodshot is a must-have title. Its unsettling atmosphere and soundtrack, not to mention the savage violence, might cause one to rock back and forth in a traumatic state. It could very well keep you up all night. There's a lot of things that'll keep you up all night. Police choppers flying over your neighborhood, diet fads, bad television. But nothing manufactures adrenaline or turns your heart into an 80s hairband drum solo quite like fear.
What was that about?
Forget it.
Condemned to Bloodshot contains all of the above elements and more to keep you up all night.
You're a drunk and a liability.
You're Ethan Thomas, bitter, drunk, and highly attractive to the deformed denizens of Metro City's lower depths. The air reeks of evil, which generally means something ain't right cooking, and it's up to Ethan to find the chef. And man, does he have a lot of prep cooks to go through. Ethan has many tools at his disposal for forensic study. Each door he enters is a library of clues he can check out. Aside from an evidence-gathering device that makes the iPhone look like a cup with a string on it, Ethan's got other assets for nuanced deconstruction of complex crime scenes. CSI Miami, this ain't. Hey, knock it off. Working here. In this land of seemingly endless night, a horrific conspiracy will have you tipping your hat to evening as dawn bleeds all over its dark floor. Condemned to Bloodshot, another title that keeps you up all night.
God, what a mess. He took the entire sternum.
Coming up on X-Play, we go head-to-head and find out whether or not Wii Fit is really the next big gaming phenomenon. And what's next for the balance board, right after this. Up All Night is brought to you by Denny's. Nothing good happens after midnight, except Denny's all-nighter menu.
There's something...
Welcome back to XPlay. No one likes going to the gym. There's the funk in the air, the fact that it's hard work, and not to mention the creepy fat guy who's always in the pool. Nintendo's banking on your fears with their latest big gamble, and we're going head-to-head to see if it's the real deal. The Wii got gamers off the couch for some much-needed exercise, and Nintendo wants to change the way we play games once again with the release of Wii Fit, which has already been selling out in stores across the country. Using the new balance board peripheral and a multitude of fitness tests and activities, the goal is to get in shape and lead a healthy life, a far cry from drinking game fuel for marathon multiplayer sessions. Is this digital gym an industry game changer, or is the Wii Fit just a flash in the pan? Joining us today from San Francisco, the editor of Game Life on Wired.com, Chris Kohler. Thanks for dropping by, Chris.
Thank you.
And also joining us today, editor-in-chief for IGN Nintendo, Matt Casamassina. Let's get right to it, but thanks for being here, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Matt, Nintendo, obviously it's very hard to get one of these things on the store shelves, so it's being very successful, but is it a successful game? Can we call Wii Fit a game?
I don't know that I would call it a game so much as a workout tool, but there are definitely mini games in there that you can play. You've got aerobics and you've got other things like that. You know, I played the ski jump, and I could find myself playing that for, you know, half an hour at a time, and that is a game. But I think the main draw of Wii Fit are the exercise programs, the push-ups, the yoga, and, you know, stuff like that. So for the most part, you know, you need to think of this as an exercise tool.
Now, Chris, obviously a lot of people have approached this as an exercise tool, and just when they start, they're being told that they're fat. They see their meat get all thick around the middle. Is this really a true exercise tool, that this is the regimen that people can do to get in shape?
Now, Adam, as you know, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to dispense any medical advice right now. But that said, I can say that when I'm done with, you know, a 30-minute session of Wii Fit, I'm definitely sweating after having done a bunch of push-ups and lunges and all kinds of other things. So, I mean, you know, in that sense, it definitely can be a serious exercise tool.
Now, Matt, there have been so many peripherals we've seen from Nintendo over the years. We've seen the Power Glove. We've seen the printer for the Game Boy. Where is the balance board going to fall in this? Is this going to be have a moment in the sun and then, you know, get dust in the closet, or is there some staying power?
Well, I think just if they never released another game, just with Wii Fit alone, it would have longer life shelf than many of those peripherals. This thing's going to sell through the year and into next year, and it's just going to be one of the main buying points for a Wii. But beyond that, you do have more than 10 games in development also that are going to utilize that. You've seen snowboarding games and skateboarding games, everything, including cheerleading games. So I think it is going to have a decent shelf life.
And Chris, obviously, you know, the Wii Fit is an exercise game, and we've seen what can happen with a lot of Wii games, that suddenly we're going to see a lot of exercise games coming from Ubisoft, coming from Activision. Are we going to see a flood of this on the market?
Well, you know, EA has announced that they want to do an exercise game that's based more on Western exercise versus Wii Fit, which is really sort of a Japanese approach to exercise. But apart from that, the games we've seen so far really are games like Rayman Raving Rabbids from Ubisoft, where I think you sit on the balance board and then use it to surf on a cow, I think, or sled down a hill on a cow. So I think that people are actually using it, as Matt mentioned, the cheerleading game. I think that people are actually using it in different and interesting ways.
Now, Matt, two of the more prominent third-party games that are going to use the balance board is the new skate game from EA, and of course the snowboarding game coming out of Ubisoft. Right. Once again, they're really using the board fundamentally just as a board. What is it going to take for some of the companies to kind of break out of the hoverboard, skateboard, snowboard mentality?
It's going to take some creativity. You know, right now the obvious choice is skateboarding and snowboarding. You're seeing a lot of companies that are going to be doing that. I think as we go down the road, you're going to see companies, maybe like Ubisoft and EA, try to use it in different ways, you know, in action games or in platformers even. It can be done. It just takes some really creative programming.
Now, Chris, obviously one of the things that's plagued the Wii is that there's such a preponderance of mini-game collections to use it. While we do have skateboarding and snowboarding, on the balance board, are we really going to see just another onslaught of just mini-game collections like Rayman Raving Rabbids using the balance board?
I feel like in the beginning you will, just because, you know, with a new method of control like this, and it's even true with Nintendo, you know, when they would come out with new controllers, the first couple of games you'd see were mini-game collections, because it's easier to come up with a variety of different novel uses for the controller that work in a 5 or 10 minute gameplay structure. And yeah, no, that is absolutely the challenge with the Wii Remote still, as well as the balance board, is people to come up with compelling applications for it that lend themselves to a 10-20 hour game.
And you know what? Only time's going to tell. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Chris and Matt, thank you so much for joining us. And let's send it back over to Morgan.
A hardcore gaming lifestyle doesn't always lead to an athletic one, so going outside into the harsh sunlight isn't always the best idea. Thankfully, a series of tools can deliver your gaming fix. It's the download. The biggest game release for download this week is Dr. Mario Online RX. As you'd expect, it's the perfect prescription for puzzle withdrawal syndrome. And we have good news for old fans. You can finally compete against your friends over the net. Oh, and you can play with your Mii's instead of the good doctor himself. It's yours for a 1,000 Wii point deductible. Star Soldier R is, believe it or not, the 12th installment of the long-running series, and much like the previous games, it's a solid entry into the vertical scrolling shooter genre. At 800 Wii points, it might seem a bit pricey, but if you're jonesing for an old-school shoot-'em-up fix, go ahead and hand your credit cards over to Nintendo. If you don't own a Wii, but you still want to join in on the downloadable fun, Xbox Live has just introduced their remake of arcade classic Warlords. If you've never played this deceptively simple game, we'll explain. You play as one of the forts in the four corners of the screen, and your goal is to destroy the other competitors. Wisely, this game's only 400 Microsoft points. All we know is the layout of the board makes us nostalgic for Hungry Hungry Hippos. Now, when is that game coming online?
When X-Play returns, we've got Mr. Stark's latest gamer challenge. But before we go, Code Monkeys' G4 smash hit animated comedy of 8-bit proportions returns with Season 2.
Catch all new episodes of the critically acclaimed comedy, Code Monkeys Season 2 starts Sunday night at 7 only on G4. And check out the web premiere right now on Break.com.
And go to g4tv.com/CodeMonkeys for the full story. And to tide you over till then, check out the sneak peek.
Mary, you might be smarter than me, but people like me so much better than you.
I wish you were in a coma so I could show you just how much I love you.
You have breasts and a vagina, but somehow you are still uninteresting.
Please, fella, I'll give you anything you want.
My name is Mary. You see me every day. All I want is a little respect.
Well, anything but that.
Is that dream weird? Have you had it more than once? Only 847 times.
G4 presents an epic conflict for gaming's most controversial world record. The King of Kong, Sunday at 5, only on G4. Take G4 on the road. Download this show now as a G4 podcast.
Hey, I'm the King of Kong, Steve Levy, and you're watching my favorite video game show, X-Play, on G4.
Welcome back to X-Play. As if there's not enough to do in Liberty City already, Mr. Stark has a Grand Theft Auto 4 gamer challenge that will have you thinking your name is Michael Scofield. Or if you don't watch that show, how about Dr. Richard Kimball?
Hey X-Players, Mr. Sark here in X-Play's Game Lab. Most of us in the last month have visited Liberty City at some point, and we've all broken the law. Personally, I've jaywalked. I've run a few red lights. Made a few illegal U-turns. I've also taken to peeling out on dead hookers. Turns out hookers have rights too. Well, when Liberty City's finest busted me in the middle of one of my patented spin jobs, they threw the book at me. But I don't plan on serving any of the life sentences they gave me, because you are going to spring me.
I'm looking for hardened GTA 4 criminals here, so if you think you can get the job done, shoot me an email with your best Liberty City exploits to Mr. Sark at g4tv.com. Don't forget to include your gamer tag or your PSN ID. I'll be playing on the 360 Monday, June 2nd between 5:30 and 8 p.m. Pacific. I'll be playing on the PS3 the next day, June 3rd, same times. Who knows? Spring me fast enough, we may have time to go pull some spin jobs. You know, to clean up the town.
Now remember, all the winners of Mr. Sark's Gamer Challenge get t-shirts from Jinx Clothing. And don't worry, if you can't spring Sark, you can always buy your own at jinx.com.
Coming up tomorrow, we've got an X-Play exclusive. You don't want to miss the world premiere trailer for The King of Kong 2. This time, the whole world hangs in the balance. And sharpen your broadsword and grease up your pecs. We review the brutal new MMO that's burning up the sales charts. Does the Age of Conan Hyperion Adventures live up to the hype? We'll let you know in our brutally honest review. Then we get the latest on NASCAR 09 straight from the guys who drive the real thing. Plus, don't miss Camera Kozo, a game so outrageous it can only be made in Japan. All this and more at 8.
Oh, do you think she liked me?
Yeah, well, she must have. That's why she's kicking her legs. It's like, you know, when I have food and I give it to a puppy and it's...
And you get all excited.
Wagging.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching X-Play.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.